Welcome to entitled parents. Here we can listen to stories about spoiled children with their entitled parents. Today's story is I was out of the town and entitled mom expected me to magically appear to babysit her daughters. This story is by Naginoi101. The story goes as I used to babysit for neighbors while in high school and it was good money. Entitled parents were around, but I only had one, and for time's sake, I am calling her Mrs. Pest. Her kids were great, but the mother, yeah, there is a special place in my memory for her, and most of it was funny as hell. Now, she had at the time one girl, 6 years old, and one boy, 12 years old. The boy stayed with his dad most times, so I rarely had to babysit him. And when I did, he didn't need to be told twice to do anything. He was my helper in most cases. One time, I had a band trip with my school. I was doing symphonic band and jazz band. I was going to be out of town for 4 days as the competition was regional. I told the families I babysat for that I was going to be gone between Thursday and Sunday. They all wished me luck except for Mrs. Pest, who was in her own universe. From the time I left on Thursday evening to Sunday, the woman called our house non-stop asking for a sitter. She was told I was out of the town, and the woman told my mother these excuses, and yes, my mom actually remembered these. Cast: Mrs. Pest, mom, dad, sister. Thursday night, Mrs. Pest. Can OP babysit Saturday night? I have a girls' night. Mom: No, she's gone till Sunday evening. Mrs. Pest: But she's my only sitter. Mom: Sorry, but OP needs this for a grade. Bye. Friday night, Mrs. Pest. Is she still not back? Dad: No, please leave us alone. Mrs. Pest: I need OP to babysit when she gets back on Saturday. Dad: She's not. She's coming home Sunday evening. Mrs. Pest: I heard Saturday morning. Mom: Sunday evening. Please just hang up. FYI, this was back before caller ID. Saturday evening, my mom said she showed up at our front door. Mrs. Pest: Look, I need a babysitter. I have ladies' night out tonight. This isn't fair. Mom: Neither is showing up to our door expecting OP to be here to watch your kids. Call your ex-husband. Mrs. Pest: Why not have your younger daughter watch my daughter? I'll pay her. Sister: No, I have modeling and acting classes tonight. Mom: Please find someone else. Sunday evening. Mom: Please stop babysitting Mrs. Pest's kids. She called me non-stop and then harassed me on Saturday evening. OP: Okay. That was my only answer because I heard it from my sister about all these. Out of all the 3 families I babysat for, Mrs. Pest was the very first person I ever had to blacklist from asking me to babysit. The worst part was she was a neighbor, so we saw her every dang day until we moved. She never again asked after that. So I go one high school trip for band and my parents had to deal with a client of mine. Somehow she couldn't remember what day I returned home on, and for 3 days she called my parents asking if I was free to babysit. I never babysat after that. The next story is from the user from Evidena. The story is Drop everything and be my nanny for a year. This is a story about my aunt and her entitled PS. She was always a bit eccentric, but she completely lost her marbles once she had her first kid a few years ago. She had her pretty late at 39 and her birth was pretty dramatic. I suspect she suffers from undiagnosed PPD, but I'm not any kind of professional, so I can't know for sure. A little family dynamic context. I have two older sisters, and our parents divorced about 16 years ago. When I was 8, my sisters were 12 and 17. We don't have any contact with our father because he is not a very nice man. This aunt is his younger sister. My parental grandmother had always perpetuated this weird dynamic of golden child scapegoat, and everyone on that side of the family just followed it. No questions asked. My oldest sister was the golden grandchild, and my middle sister was the scapegoat. I was mostly ignored, but that also brought in its own issues. They treated my middle sister terribly when she was a teenager, making up terrible things about her and how my mother was doing a bad job raising us. The things they said were pretty heinous, and I honestly don't want to out this behavior, and she was ostracized for it for years. Then my sister got married to a man who does pretty well for himself and moved overseas. Suddenly, she was the favorite grandchild. My aunt had her kid 3 years ago. She's full on yummy mummy, wanted a natural birth, diffuses essential oils all the time, etc. She also had a very good career beforehand and was respected as an expert in her field. Anyway, my sister is living her life, building a career of her own in this country that's about 16 hours of flight away, living her best married life. And called her one day when the kid was about 6 months old and tried to get her to move back to our country to be a nanny for her for a year so Aunt can go back to her career. She even offered to pay her. She harassed my sister for weeks until she started to ignore her messages and calls, and my aunt gave up later. Other requests my aunt had for my sister: buy her kid one of those toddler-sized battery-powered cars and bring it over here on the plane. She didn't offer to pay out for that. Buy some purebred puppy and fly it out here. She won't be paying for that either. She even calls my sister at ungodly hours because she forgot that time zones are a thing, just to chat about nothing. I'm really glad that everyone ignores me, and I'm currently getting the silent treatment for not calling often enough or whatever. But I really feel for my sister. Edit. I just wanted to add that my sister doesn't take them very seriously, and we often joke about it. My aunt doesn't contact her that often, but it's always something pretty outrageous when she does. Still, it's sad that our relatives are like this. Next story is from Daisy Tilf. The story goes as: your bar isn't child friendly. There's too much alcohol. Backstory: I work at an alcoholic bar that essentially turns into a club at night. This man just came in with his toddlerish kid, ordered a shitload of beer, and essentially let the toddler run around my bar to do whatever it wants. It made its way behind the bar while I was attempting to piss on my break and hit its head on something. Imagine my surprise when I exit the bathroom and immediately get yelled at by this guy about how the child's misadventurous accident was my fault. The exact quote is: "This place is not fit for a child. There's too much alcohol and wires behind the bar." Maybe I run a bar and not a daycare? Essentially, I hate kids and incompetent, entitled parents. Edit. This is once again an opportunity to tell Americans that cultures other than their own exist. Southern European bars are often frequented by adults with their kids, and it's considered normal here. However, I do wish they'd look after their rats and not blame me for their misconduct.